So I graduated in 2002 or 2003, and then pretty much just started making jewellery straight from then, just started doing kind of group shows and things, and tried to find some work that was related to the field that I was working in. So I think I got some part-time work, started working part-time at Manukau School of Visual Arts, where I studied, and at Fingers, because I'd done a work experience while I was studying at Fingers, so started working at Fingers and things, and they became a bit more permanent, those jobs, later down the track, but and then so started doing quite a lot of group shows and things, and then, was it last year or the year before, I hadn't really done a proper solo show. Like, I'd done lots of shows, but not a big kind of solo show, and just the sort of solo shows I'd done were kind of small cabinet shows and things. So I took the plunge, and I was working with Caroline at the National in Christchurch, where I show, and with Carl Chittum, who's a curator now at the Rotorua Museum Gallery, and we decided to make it a kind of bigger project by applying with CNZ for some funding for a catalogue and things like that, so then I had the show at the National, and then at the start of this year then it came up to Auckland, where it was shown at the Gus Fisher, and and just been doing shows since then as well. Kind of done, I suppose earlier on too, I showed an exhibition of New Zealand jewellery called Jock, Jewellery Out of Context, and that was quite a big sort of show that went and travelled a bit around the world, and that was organised by Peter Deckers, so participated in group shows in New Zealand and tried to participate in ones overseas as well. And then I also applied earlier on in 2004 or something for that's my dogs for something called Talent, which is a big show in Germany, in Munich, every year. So I got accepted into that, which is a show of international, of about maybe I think 80 international makers that are young, that are working in all sorts of applied arts, and so I went over for that with CNZ's help and stuff, and then alongside that show there's a show called Schmuck, and so I showed in that in 2008, which is a kind of all in the same sort of location and everything, and that specialises in international contemporary jewellery. So thinking about this participatory sort of theme that's happening within contemporary jewellery, I mean, with Handshake, that's the project. The idea is that it's about kind of learning and developing knowledge and so forth through this sort of mentor program that it deals with. Then you get other projects, like Object Space had a show last year of Roseanne Bartley's, which was called Seeding the Cloud, which was a fantastic project where the idea was that you start off with a piece of string, and you take a few tools on your walk, and you gather rubbish or plastic pieces as you walk, and you construct that up into a necklace, and the necklace becomes a kind of visual representation of that journey, which is great. And then you have Jackie Chan with Hosted Brooch and the Brooch of the Month Club. I mean, I think one thing that I can think of is that jewellery has such a strong relationship to the body and to human connection, and it often is used to signify things. So a wedding ring signifies so much more than just being an object, and so forth. And so I see people who are doing this kind of participatory thing as kind of highlighting that kind of thing, or highlighting a kind of another level of that kind of human interaction and connection and so forth. Some of my past or most recent work, I'll show you a few examples. There's this image here, which isn't very well printed, but yeah. And so then this is the actual brooch itself. So this is a work I called the Hug Collector, and the idea was that I was trying to capture things that you can't really capture. So and trying to highlight the sort of essence sometimes of why we wear jewellery, and often we wear jewellery because it's about highlighting some sort of human relationship or connection we have with each other. And so I made this piece called the Hug Collector. It's a brooch that's got a Velcro dot on it, and the idea is that that it captures hugs. So so if you hug someone, might catch a little bit of the fluff from their jersey or something like that, and that forever you kind of retain, or you have capture that moment in a sort of solid, or as solid as you can kind of form. So that's a kind of recent piece. And I also made a work which I've got this image, but I could show you this one. Here's the kind of silver version of that piece, and this one here is called Light-Hearted, and then there was a black version of it, which was called Parting Breath. And the idea with these works was, I was thinking about how when you're alive, or when you live, you breathe, and you need the breath in order to survive, or the breath is your life. And I was trying to think of ways I could capture life or capture somebody. So I made these balloons that are in the shapes of hearts, or quite subtle sort of shapes of hearts, and blew into them. And the idea was that then I had electroformed, and the idea was that forever your breath or your life would be encapsulated in the object. So in some form you remain in an object forever, because when you die, obviously, then take your last breath, then it goes out into the air and you can't ever capture that, and so then it's forever kind of in an object. And the Parting Breath one, which is the black version of it, that was that actually broke after it got electroplated, and so my breath escaped, and so I was like, oh no. So I mended it, and in mending it I wasn't able to blow back into it, obviously, so I mended it and I had it re-electroformed, and then I got it painted black, and it was kind of like a mourning version of it, because in essence it talked about how it's unattainable to forever be encapsulated in an object, and so forth. So that's those two works. And I suppose I could talk about this one here. Maybe this one. And so this is a work, you probably can't see the image very well. It was me, it's a Renee Bevan necklace. So I was thinking about how I make jewellery, and I was trying to get to the essence of things. So I wanted to get to the essence of what a piece of jewellery of mine would be, and so I was thinking about what the most sort of beautiful or precious necklace could be that you could ever receive. And so I got my partner Logan in the garden, and I jumped up onto him with my arms wrapped around him and got Shelley to take a photo, and he was wearing me as a necklace, and so it was sort of me as a maker, still Renee Bevan necklace, but sort of the most precious kind of necklace I could give him and you could wear is having someone's arms around your neck. And you know, I can see like my grandma and granddad embracing and that being such a precious kind of necklace, because in essence you've still got your arms around their neck. You are at that moment a necklace. And yeah, and so I made some other works which were like me wearing the world, and the idea was that I could see the world as being like a giant pearl, because it's just like a giant bead, and if you capped it and then you put it around your neck, then you're wearing the whole world and so forth. So yeah, I think I kind of look a bit macro and micro sometimes. Yeah. So I work, my studio here is at home, and it's yeah, a little bit down the backyard, and it was an old garage that was really hideous. Didn't have these big windows or anything like that, and my grandpa, my dad and lots of people actually came, but my grandpa was here every day, yeah, working on this, and converted it into this amazing space for me. So built the table, pretty much built everything, and so now I have this. I did have another studio here at home, but it was a lot smaller. It was probably about a third of the size. So yeah, so I've had this probably for maybe a few years now, and it works really well. And stuff. He even went to my dad lives with some woods, forest, backing onto sort of, yeah, trees and stuff. And so Grandpa went there and found a tree that had fallen over and cut this log by hand. And I don't even know how he'd done it, but he then also managed to lift it with like ropes into the back of his car, bring it here, sanded it all down, and gave me a hammering log as well. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have such a great family. So a bit of advice someone gave me was that after she graduated, she kind of said yes to everything. So anything she got invited to be part of, or anything that was an opportunity, she took that fully. And obviously she was selective about picking the right kinds of things that fitted with what she was doing, but she sort of said how it didn't matter how busy she was or how much she had on her plate, she still took each of these opportunities because one thing would lead to the next and so forth. So yeah, I guess that was something that kind of always stayed with me, especially when I graduated, and I sort of took that advice and went with it, and so I'd probably pass that on because I think it was really valuable.